In my Thrustmaster T-LCM review, I put pedal to the metal to see whether they're any good and also how they stack up against the competition, including the cheaper T3PAs and the Fanatec CSL Elite LCs. So today's video on A Tribe Called Cars is all about the Thrustmaster T-LCM pedal set. Now these cost around £180, €200 or $200. They are the first load cell pedals to come from the manufacturer, and I believe they were announced in February and then released in March of 2020. Now before I get into the meat of the review, it'd be cool if you could subscribe, if you could hit the bell button, and of course if you want to comment or ask anything about the pedals or other sim racing stuff, then please do. That is partly what this channel is all about. Now there's a lot of sim racing content on the way. I know a lot of you guys watch the channel for racing game stuff, and obviously you need the accessories to do that. So that is going to be something I will cover in more detail, including a feature on the best budget sim racing setup, because not everyone has a lot of money, so it would be cool to tell you what's worth buying and what isn't. Last bit of admin, sorry guys. Feel free to check out the links in the description for all the things I mention, the way I edit the videos, the sim racing setup I use, of course the pedals themselves, all of that stuff. If you decide to buy anything and use an affiliate, I get a few pence from the process. It costs you absolutely nothing, and that helps me make more videos, which is awesome. I want to make this my full-time thing, so all help appreciated. Anyway, shut up Ben. Let's get on with the review. Now TLCM stands for Thrustmaster Load Cell Magnetics. Now the load cell bit is a reference to the fact the pedals are pressure sensitive. So if you press a lot, they know that. You press a little, they know that. Pedals like the T3PA normally use a travel based system. So essentially what you're getting with the TLCM is a system more akin to when you press the pedal and then the brake fluid system operates and the brakes obviously are applied. The magnetics bit, meanwhile, refers to the magnetic sensors in the pedals that are said to improve reliability. More on that later. Compatibility for the TLCM pedals is across the board, so that means Xbox One, PS4 and PC, which is really, really great. Now because the Xbox Series X is backwards compatible with games and accessories, that means you could buy this now and be able to use it with the next generation Microsoft console. As far as I'm aware, the same cannot be said of the PlayStation 5. If you use a console, all you have to do is connect the pedals to the steering wheel using an RJ45 cable. If you plan to play on PC, then you will use a USB cable instead, which also comes in a box, so it's all nice and easy, plug and play, away you go. Now for me, the Thrustmaster T-LCM pedals played nicely with my Xbox One, the original one, not the fancy Xbox One X or the newer One S, and also my Windows 10 PC, so I had no issues whatsoever out of the box. However, I have upgraded the Thrustmaster software on my computer to the latest firmware version, so I would suggest you get the software and do the same, because I have read people have had issues trying to get these pedals to work with different steering wheels, and turns out most of the time, from what I've seen, is that it's to do with being a little bit in the past for your firmware. A link to the software will be in the description below. Thrustmaster software also lets you fine-tune various elements of each accessory. So even if you only play on console and not PC, I would still recommend making the effort there. Just hook things up to a laptop, run the software, and then away you go. So what makes the TLCM pedals special? Well, not that it matters too much how they look when they're under your feet, but I will say they certainly look the part. Beefier than the T3PAs and Fanatec CSL Elite LCs, that's for sure. I like the shiny aluminium top plate, which provides grip and also helps with wear and tear. I like the steel and aluminium pedals, which would look very much at home in a real race car. I like that there is more pedal surface compared to the T3PAs, which is good if you have bigger feet and therefore bigger shoes. I also like the fact you can fine-tune the accelerator, brake and clutch pedal positions to make life more comfortable. Vertical and horizontal inclination, height and spacing are all customizable. Not that I had to make any adjustments myself, as I was quite comfortable with the out-of-the-box setup. However, Those who want to heel and toe, or perhaps have a disability, will enjoy that luxury. Underneath the TLCM pedals are rubber feet. That and the fact they weigh 5 kilograms or 11 pounds means there's not going to be much in the way of slippage. Slippage really is not a nice sounding word, is it? Slippage. I need to stop saying slippage now. Slippage. Now you may be wondering why there is a springy bit attached to the brake pedal. Well, basically this helps create physical resistance when you press the brake. Now in the box you get various springs that allow you to increase or decrease the amount of resistance. So if you're the kind of person that drives really frantically and is very heavy, then you will want to probably use the red spring just to beef up the amount of feeling. Those of a more delicate nature, meanwhile, will prefer the softer white springs or perhaps leave the ones already fitted. Just in case every day is leg day for you, the TLCM pedals can support up to 110 kilograms or 200 pounds of braking pressure. So you'd have to be particularly heavy-footed to need something stronger. For comparison, the Fanatec CSL Elite LCs can manage up to 90 kilograms of pressure. The adjustment doesn't just stop there. The braking power can be adjusted using the Thrustmaster software. Although once again, I was happy with what I got out of the box. You can also adjust something called the dead zone, which is basically the sort of area of pedal travel when nothing happens. For those who stab the pedals hard, you can increase the dead zone to make it harder to lock up the wheels as easily when you stab the brakes. Or you can have no dead zone to provide maximum traction because any movement will register as braking in the game. Now admittedly, many racing games allow you to do this already. However, if they don't, it means it's nice that you always have the option. Customization wise, the TLCM pedals are definitely better than the T3PAs and on a par with the Fanatec CSL Elite. Is it worth spending hours trying different adjustments though? To be honest, probably not unless you plan on doing like a crazy 60-minute iRacing endurance type thing, in which case comfort is paramount. But to be honest, most of us will be better off just practicing foot control than worrying about anything else. Let's talk numbers for a second. For around £90 you can get the 3-pedal T3PA set. For around £50 more, you can have the T3PA Pro version, which allows pedal inversion and some extra metal for added durability. Aftermarket brake mods can be added to both, and there is plenty of information on the internet about this. Then there is the Fanatec CSL Elite LC set, which costs around £190 or 220 euros at the time of making this video. These are more akin to the TLCM pedals on review, as not only do they look similar, they also feature the same load cell technology and 16-bit resolution for pedal accuracy. All things considered, you're getting a lot of pedal for the money, but then £200 buys you a load of Haribo. Let's not jump to the verdict just yet though, because I really need to milk those middle of the video adverts. So if you could watch that, that would be amazing. Please. So how do the TLCM pedals work in practice? Well, the good news is that I would say very well. Even without any adjustment to the load cell, they feel firm enough to be realistic, but not so firm that you feel like you lose accuracy or you're constantly battling all the time with your inputs. And let's remember that braking is vitally important, because if you can brake just a little bit later than another driver in a race, then you are the one who gets to the corner faster. And if you apply those small gains to 20 or 30 corners across a race, well, that really adds up. Good accurate brakes also help build confidence, and the sensitivity-based nature of the pedals is better for muscle memory. Compared with the binary on-off nature of the T3PA pedals, I definitely feel more in control with the TLCM. About as much as I do with the Fanatec CSL Elite LCs in fact. You can more easily learn how much braking you need for a corner and then consistently repeat it. That makes sense as the pedals are spring-loaded, plus Thrustmaster has inbuilt something called HEART. Now that's not a cheesy way the company is trying to say it likes you. It stands for Hall Effect Accurate Technology. Basically, the pedal's 16-bit resolution magnetic sensors can recognize up to 65,536 input positions. Way more than the Kama Sutra. Now it's worth noting the T3PA and T3PA Pro also feature HEART technology. so that isn't unique to the TLCM pedals. In terms of feel, the accelerator pedal is the most similar between the T3PA and TLCM pedals, while the clutch is noticeably heavier on the TLCM, and the brakes are somewhere in between the two. I definitely found the improved pedal feel helped me be more precise, and also it just feels more realistic, more like the actual cars I have driven in real life for my job. Now, it's too early to tell how long the Thrustmaster T-LCM pedals will last, but Thrustmaster claims an unlimited lifespan of intense use, because of its contactless magnetic sensor technology. This is unlike the Fanatec CSL Elite LCs, which are prone to potentiometer, did I say that right? Maybe not. Sensor failure. And nobody wants a failing sensor, eh? The downside is that Thrustmaster said it removed the ability to invert the pedals to help improve reliability, which means the T3PA Pro pedals have the edge here if that is something you care about. Also annoying is the ability for the pedals to attract dust and debris and anything else that happens to be on your feet. This is not a problem specific to the TLCM pedals, but it is worth bearing in mind. I would also recommend some sort of stand or seat to get the best from your steering wheel and pedal combination, which obviously is going to add to the cost. Plus, I noticed a little bit of flex in the pedals when you press them really, really hard, and that's because the construction does have some plastic. Now, is it worth having 3 pedals? For realism, yes. For certain advanced driving techniques, yes. For making it easy to confuse the clutch and brake and then drive in something so fast you have terminal damage, yes. But I think the brake and accelerator are the most important. So if you can consider going down to 2 pedals, and that allows you to have a better steering wheel, then I would seriously consider that option. Time for the big moment. Should you buy the TLCM pedals? Well, spending nearly £200 on things you press with your feet is definitely an extravagant purchase, especially as I was able to enjoy sim racing with the cheaper T3PA pedals quite happily. But as far as enjoyment goes, the TLCMs do feel like a noticeable upgrade. I certainly saw my own driving improve in the likes of iRacing, Project Cars 2, Dirt Rally 2 and WRC 8. I would say that they are on a par with the slightly pricier Fanatec CSL Elite LCs, and that is a big compliment. Was I actually faster? I probably saw a second or 2 in extreme cases because I was just able to modulate my braking better and be more consistent. Obviously, for faster and more experienced sim racers, the difference is going to be much smaller, and arguably they might actually want to spend a lot more money on even fancier pedals and the direct drive wheel, that kind of stuff. But the thing is, an improvement is still an improvement, and in racing games such as iRacing, where people are highly competitive, every millisecond counts. And even if you don't care about being the fastest, a good sim racing setup makes racing games feel more satisfying and more realistic. For an authentic racing car vibe, the TLCM pedals are really quite hard to fault. Whether you can justify that price tag is another thing. But I will say this, race realistic pedals, a stand and steering wheel costs a fraction of the price of real racing. And yet the reality can be nearly as thrilling, especially with how visually and mechanically accomplished racing games are these days. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. I shall see you in the next video. Stay safe.